All right, quick summary of my day so that I can then get to bed on time. And it'll be a little experiment. Like if I go to bed by 10, how early do I get up? How productive am I? So this morning, like I went to bed too late last night, and then I woke up around 8, and then I heard I tried to go back to sleep, and I heard clanking from the kitchen, and then sort of woke up again at 10, and then my sister had said she was coming over at 11, so I thought I should get up for that, but I wound up just sort of sitting on bed on my phone till like 1, and then I went upstairs, and she was still here, and then I was making a sandwich, and then they were watching Saturday Night Live upstairs, and I'm like, do I watch it with them? No, I don't have time to watch stuff. I need to be productive. I need to produce my stuff, but then I thought, well, I'm just going to be down here thinking I should be up there, so I eventually went up and watched the show with them, and that was nice little family thing. And then we drove her home, and then we drove back, and my parents were like, do you want to be dropped anywhere, or are you just going home? I'm like, no, I'm going to go home. I'm going to be productive. But then it was this weird time, right? It's like, okay, well, my aunt's coming over for dinner. Do I have time to... And then I was like, okay, no, I got to do a video. I told my mom I would do like an Amazon live stream. Actually, I told that to my uncle because the kids video called. That's right. I chatted with my niece and nephew a little bit. Okay, here's a funny story. So they called. They called while we were in the car, and my parents were like, oh, my phone's ringing. What's going on? They couldn't figure out how to answer the video, and that was my dad's phone. So then they started calling my mom, and my mom's like, I can't answer. And I'm like, give me the phone. What? It was just ridiculous. And then finally they reached my mom somehow, and it was the kids calling, my niece and nephew. And then my nephew showed me his teeth. He's like, and I'm like, oh, look at your teeth. And he's like, yeah, I lost like 5 teeth. And I'm like, oh, I've got a little box that I have my baby teeth in. And I'm like, did you put them under your pillow? He's like, no, if I put them under my pillow, then, it'll wake me up if somebody takes them. But then, yeah, he's not supposed to leave them in a box because then he won't get his money that his mom was saying. I don't know. I feel like I shouldn't have said it. I keep them in a box. But I think she said, well, maybe you can ask because he was like, didn't you get your money? And I was trying to explain to him and the mom, like his mom, like, how did I get money for them if I still got the teeth? And I think I said, can I have them back? Like I left a note for the fairy godmother, tooth fairy. Anyway, at the end, my sister's like, oh, tell Uncle Josh what you say at the end of phone calls or anything. Is it phone calls? Apparently he's been making his own videos or something, but at the end of everything, he always says, and comment down below. I think that's how he hangs up on calls too. Comment down below. And it's because he's been watching like YouTube videos, and they all say, and I said, yeah, that's right. Click subscribe, click like, subscribe, and comment down below. Yeah. So yes, she's like, yeah, he's definitely related to you. I'm like, good. Let's make him the biggest YouTuber in the world. God, I wish I had my own kids. Then I would totally be throwing them on YouTube. And now okay. I've just in terms of having kids, I've realized, God, I want kids now. And even if I met someone and eventually had kids, like it would still take 9 months, right? And then I think it would be really cool to have like a grown kid, like maybe a 15-year-old, or like at least someone old enough that I can talk to about things and work on things with, maybe a 20-year-old, like even older. But that would take more than 20 years now to get. I don't want to wait 20 years. But if I had done it at 20 years ago, like when my dad had me at his age, now I would be this. Like it just makes me so frustrated. What was I thinking? I never sat down for my entire life to go, okay, how old am I now? If I want kid, like how old will I be in 20 years? Like it just never occurred to me that to have a 10-year-old kid, it takes 10 years. So 10 years, how old am I going to be in 10 years if I had a kid? And I don't even have anybody to have kids with now. And there's nobody to have kids with. Like it's gone. Like I missed my chance. I really didn't sit down and think about life. I just thought, no, I'll just have fun. I'll be dating or whatever. But I let 30 years go by since university. And I never sat down to go, what is life? What's important? And how can I do it? Like even to have a wife that's supportive. Like I had amazing girlfriends that would cook for me or take care of me and loved me and help me creatively. And, I loved them back and gave to them too. But just to have that support and to build something together, that's a lot easier to go through life, to then just be like, oh, I'm alone. I'm just meeting people. Like, what was I thinking? It's not like I never met anybody. It's not like, oh, I was just one of these unlucky people that was never able to meet a decent guy. Like, because I'm looking for a girl. But I met amazing women. What was I thinking? I wish I could do everything over. But I'm still wasting time. Like, what did I just do for the past year? Like, it's now been a year, more than a year since I sold my condo. It's now been like 6 months. I've just been sitting in this basement. Anyways, here, what happened with the rest of the day? So, yeah, it was down here, and then my mom was listening to CBC radio upstairs, so it was kind of bleeding down. I'm like, oh, it's too loud to I wanted to record a little intro to my podcast, like an interview I literally did a year ago on October 24th, 2019. I want to just record a little intro to that and then post that. But then it was time for dinner. So I went and had dinner, and then they were watching Saturday Night Live again. So I watched it with my aunt and my mom again, the whole thing. Probably a waste of time. And then I came down here. So I wanted to record like a 30-second intro to the podcast. Wound up being literally 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes of me rambling to introduce this podcast. But at least I'll paste that on tomorrow and get that episode out at least. And then I had another idea. I was like, hey, why don't I review the different sketches from Saturday Night Live? And I thought, okay, let me Google to see if there's a list of them, because I didn't write down all the ones in order. And then I found an article, like in Vulture, in which I was featured during the film festival a few years ago. But anyways, they do a weekly summary of like the top 10 sketches or something in order. So like the order of the goodness of them. So not in chronological, but whatever. So I'm like, okay, maybe I could do one of those YouTube videos where people read articles. I could read that article. I could read the description of what their thoughts were on the sketch and give my own thoughts on it. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. And I say every day, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. But really, I hope I will. And if I don't know, if I take my melatonin now and I'm hopefully fall asleep, we'll see. I hope you had a good day, had a good weekend. Is anybody happy? Like, I wonder, is that the joke? Like that everybody's miserable and everybody's pretending to be happy? Or is everybody happy? I don't know. What is life about?